Hey everyone, I'm Kirsty and today I thought I would do a video of my favourite Ownvoices East Asian inspired fantasy books. I'm not feeling very well today, so you can probably hear from my nose I'm a bit nasally. Today I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. Yesterday I just spent the whole day in my pyjamas. But I wanted to film a video because I hadn't filmed one last week because I was at Disney last week, so doing one today. I'm a big fan of East Asian inspired stuff. I grew up watching a lot of East Asian films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and House of Flying Daggers because my dad had me watching all this stuff and my dad likes it as well. As my parents went to Singapore and Hong Kong before I was born, and I've travelled East Asia, well, East and Southeast Asia, so I'm quite I just love the history of East Asia. So I thought I would do some of my favourite East Asian inspired books. So first we have Empress of All Seasons by Miko Jean. This is a story inspired by feudal Japan and is set in a world where there are yokai and they are basically in servitude of the human throne. So the son of the emperor has to get married soon, and to figure out who his wife will be, they set up a competition which takes place in the palace, which has some what's the word, enchanted rooms inspired by seasons. So Empress of All Seasons, that's where it comes from. So they have to go through spring, summer, winter, autumn in these different rooms where there are various things happening in them. Mari is a girl who is half yokai and half human. So Mari lives with her mother in an all-female clan of yokai, and Mari has been training her whole life to kill the emperor and the emperor's son, basically. And so she takes part in this competition and chaos ensues, basically. One of the things I really liked about this book is that you learn a bit more about yokai. So I think we all know like Oni, which are those like trolls that you see the masks for, and we know like kitsunes, which are foxes, but there's quite a few other kind of beasts I learned about that I then went to look up my own research about as well. I'm pretty sure this is a standalone novel, as I haven't seen anything about any sequels in the works, and the ending is quite a clear ending. It felt a little rushed in the end, but I've still really enjoyed it. Then we have The Epic Crush of Jeannie Lo by F.C. Yee. This is a book that is an urban fantasy, so it's set in San Francisco, I think. They just say the Bay Area, but I'm pretty sure that's San Francisco, isn't it? So this is about a girl called Jeannie Lo who's doing really well in school until some scary monsters start appearing in her area, and she meets a boy called Quentin who's a bit mysterious, and then she finds out he is the monkey god Sun Wukong, and she gets wrapped up in his whole thing. I really love this book. It's one of my absolute favourites. The sequel comes out really soon. I just found it absolutely hilarious. It's such a fun journey, basically. Some people would maybe say it's a fun romp. I hate using the word romp, but it is. I would highly recommend this to you if that sounds like your cup of tea, because it's just so fun. I really like this book. It's quite short as well. Yeah, I managed to get this in Oxfam a couple of years ago. It's an ARC, and I was quite surprised that I found it, so I'm really happy to have this one. Then we have one of my absolute favourite books of 2019, and probably all my favourite books of all time, basically, and that is Gumiho, or Wicked Fox, depending on your country, by Kat Cho. I'm a big fan of Korean dramas, so when I heard about this, I was like, oh my gosh, sign me up. This is about a girl called Gu Mi-young, and she is a nine-tailed fox, which is also known as a gumiho. Her and her mother have to basically kill people to take their souls so they can continue to live. But Mi-young is not happy with doing that. She doesn't like killing people. So she tries to find ways of killing criminals and stuff instead of just average people. But she begins to feel really disillusioned with this way of life, so she tries to stop. One night, she runs into a boy called Ji-hoon, who is being attacked by a dokebi, which is a goblin. Mi-young rescues him, and in doing so she dislodges her Gumiho pearl. So this pearl is her life force basically. Like, she can live with it on her person, but if it gets destroyed, then she gets destroyed basically. So Mi-young then has to figure out a way to put the pearl back in her body, and she goes on a wee adventure through Seoul, trying to keep all this from her mother, but then things go a bit wrong. I absolutely adore this book. It's one of my just absolute favourites of the year. I think everyone should be reading this. It's just so good and so fun. I've sped through it. Please read this. It's just so good. Then we have Warcross by Marie Lu, which is set in our world but in the future, where augmented reality is a way of life. Everyone has like lenses, I think, or glasses, I can't remember, it's been a while since I read this, that they live with, that they just see augmented reality on top of their world, which is what augmented reality is. So they see like ads and stuff everywhere, and in this world there is a game, and our main character Miko takes part in this game. She's also a hacker to try to get things out of this game, and then one day she gets in trouble, and the creator of the game invites her to Tokyo, where there is a competition taking place in the game, and she has to figure out who is hacking into this competition, as she has previous experience with hacking. This was really fun. There is a sequel sitting on my shelves that I really need to read, because it ends on a major cliffhanger, and I kind of saw it coming, but in a good way. Like, it was set up well, like the ending. I had a really good time reading this. Then we have Flame in the Mist by Renee Adier. This is inspired by feudal Japan again, and also inspired a little bit by the legend of Mulan and 47 Ronin, the film. I have not seen that film, so I don't know if I can draw parallels to that, but there's definitely parallels to Mulan in this, but not in the whole Disney kind of way, but just the way of a girl disguising herself basically. So Mariko is on her way to the Imperial Palace to meet her betrothed, and to get there she has to take a detour through a horrible forest that's haunted or whatever, and a lot of people say horrible things about it. Maybe people don't come out alive, kind of stuff. And her carriage is attacked. Everyone she knows is killed in this carriage, including her maid, and she manages to play dead and gets away alive. She then goes into the forest and cuts her hair to hide the fact that she is a woman, and she pretends to be a man. She then meets up with a band of rebels, starts helping them basically. I really enjoy this book, and I really enjoyed Smoke in the Sun as well, which is the sequel to this book. I'm a big fan of Renee Adier's writing. She has a wonderful style of writing. It's flowery, but I find it not too flowery that I can't figure out what's going on. And I really like this one, as I liked all of them, because this is a recommendations video. This one's a bit slow at the start, but once you get into it, it's really good. Next we have Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan. This is an arc, so it doesn't have the title on the cover. You've probably heard of this book. Everyone raves about it because it's just so good. Lei is a member of the paper caste, and she lives in a world where there is a caste system. So at the top of the caste system is the moon caste, which is full demon people. Then you have the steel caste, which are half demon, half human, and then you have paper caste, which are fully human. Paper caste are basically the lowest of the low, and moon caste being the highest. The king is a moon caste, and he is known as the Demon King. One day Lei's family home is attacked, and she has to go be a paper girl for the Demon King. And the Demon King every year selects 8 paper girls, and she is the 9th. I think that's the numbers. Pardon me if I'm wrong. As she is someone who is poor and lives in the outer areas of her country, she is very disillusioned with this way of the king, and she lost her mother a few years ago to something similar. The rest of the paper girls are a bit more not into it, I'd say, but they more feel they have to do it to help their family, and it doesn't feel as horrible for them, although for some of them obviously it does. So then the girls basically become the Demon King's own personal, you know. There's some not so great scenes in this book, including sexual harassment and rape, but I think it's dealt with incredibly well. I could really feel for Lay and all the rest of the girls. One of the girls is called Ren, and Lay becomes enamoured with her. They start to spend a lot of time together, and Lay finds out that Ren is in the castle basically to kill the Demon King, and she wants to help, and in doing so she falls in love with Ren and vice versa. So I just love it. I love my female romances, especially in a fantasy world. If you've not read this, I highly recommend that you read it, as long as you're not going to get triggered by the content in it. And then the final book is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This is different to the rest of the novels, as those are all kind of in the perspective of someone who is good, and this is from this perspective of a villain. This book is a villain origin story, kind of inspired by Snow White, and it's about the rise of the evil queen, basically. So Shifeng has been told her whole life that she is to become the empress, and to do so she has to embrace this dark magic inside of her, like her mother did. However, she is in love with a boy that she knows from her local area, and they both travel to the place where the emperor is. I can't remember, like the capital. She finds a place in the emperor's court and tries to basically overthrow the empress that is currently there and whisper things into the emperor's ear, basically. I really enjoyed reading this, as it's not often that I read villain origin stories, think morally grey characters. She's not exactly morally grey, she's kind of more morally black, but I was a big fan of this. I have the sequel, well, it's a kind of companion sequel kind of thing, because I think it follows the daughter of the emperor. Yeah, I need to read it because I did really enjoy this one. I can't stop it. I kept thinking about it for quite a while after reading it. And look at the cover, it's so pretty. They changed it though, it's so sad. I love this cover. So yeah, that's all the books I would like to talk about today. If there are any East Asian inspired fantasies that you think I would enjoy, leave them comments down below, or if you like any of these, or if there's any that you absolutely love and you want to tell me about them, go ahead. You can find me at my blog, which is kirstyreadsblog.wordpress.com, or you can find me on my Twitter, which is Smeared Eyes, or my Instagram, which is kirstyreadsblog. I'm going to go curl up in my bed now because I feel like crap. Yeah, bye. 'Cause when we jumpin' and poppin', we choppin'.